Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Read Latin, the series where we take an authentic text and read through it together. I'm hoping that as you read, you're thinking about what does this make me feel? How do I feel about this? As well as what's actually happening? What's going on in the story? Who's doing what's happening, and then from there to think about what can we infer about the characters, about Aeneas, about Juno and her implacable wrath, or Turnus, the enemy who seems to be always just doing something against Aeneas. Is he just a whole heaping mound of fury, or is there something more to him? I'm hoping that these things will come through in our read-through of Virgil's Aeneid, Book 8. Now that's an odd place to start for some, I think. Actually, I think by all means it is an odd place to start. But bear with me. I think that the second half of the Aeneid is less read than the first half because there's such awesome stuff in the first half that people just stop there. But if you think about it, the first half of the Aeneid, if you haven't read it yet, is about all the wanderings of Aeneas and his band of Trojans as they're trying to find their ancient homeland, Italy. Now that's it's a return journey story, kind of like the Odyssey, and scholars have commented that it's like the Odyssey in that first half. The second half is like the Iliad in that it concerns wars, battles, fighting, and a sort of epic confrontation between different war leaders. Aeneas on the Trojan side and Turnus on the Italian sort of Rutulian side. So, if the Iliad is read a lot more than the Odyssey as a sort of literary masterpiece, why aren't we reading the second half of the Aeneid more? So let's ponder that, but leave it to the side. I want us to get stuck into the Latin and really just read this story. Let the story speak for itself. Now I'm starting in line 26. Nox erat, et terras animalia fessa per omnis alituum pecudumque genus sopor altus habebat. Well, okay, right into the thick of the story. Nox erat, there was night. It was night. Et terras animalia fessa per omnis. Okay, so animalia fessa, that's got to go together. Tired animals. But we don't know whether it's a subject or object yet. Alituum pecudumque genus sopor altus habebat. Sopor altus. Okay. It was night, and sopor altus, deep sleep, habebat, had or was taking hold of, animalia fessa, the tired creatures, the tired animals, and it's through per omnis terras, through all the lands. A universal fate of all animal creatures is that they must sleep at night. Alituum pecudumque genus. So the animals of the kind, of the winged kind, and the beastie kind. Okay, does that make sense? It was night, and deep sleep had hold of the tired creatures of winged or beastie kind. Of winged and beastie kind, I should say. Cum pater in ripa gelidique sub aeteris axe Aeneas. Okay, when Father Pater and Father who? Father Aeneas, way down there. Okay, when Father Aeneas in ripa, let's see, on the bank, and with the que, sub axe, let's see, under the vault of the sky, of the aether, the upper air. So under the vault of the sky, the gelidi sky though, the icy cold sky, under the vault of the icy cold sky, on the bank, Aeneas, Father Aeneas, tristi turbatus pectora bello, troubled, turbatus, troubled, by what though? Troubled by tristi bello, by sad war. But what's a better word for sad? We could say dismal war. Troubled by dismal war, pectora, in his heart. Troubled by dismal war in his heart, Aeneas procubuit, he lay down, seramque dedit per membra quietem. He gave what through his watch? He gave seram quietem, late rest. Late rest? How's late? How's rest late? Oh, I guess he's been up all this time worried about the fate of his people. He gives late rest per membra, over or through his limbs, over his limbs. Now that seems to be an odd phrase. He gives late rest over his limbs. We could actually say he allowed rest at last, and it's like late rest, the rest at last that comes late. He allowed rest at last to steal over his limbs. Okay, we've got quietem right at the end. It's delayed, just like it is in the story. It's just delayed right to the very end of that sentence. Huic Deus ipse loci fluio Tiberinus amoino populeas inter senior sea tollere frondes visus. Okay, that's a long bit, but we can do this. Deus is easy, that's God. Huic, to this man. So to this man, a God. Ipse, the God himself. Ooh, wow. Right in person. The God himself. Who's that God? Tiberinus. Tiber, the God of the Tiber. The God himself to this man. And what does he do? Well, I'm not going to see it for a while, so I might say, let's keep describing this god. Tiberinus fluio amoino. God himself, Tiberinus of the Amoino. Amenable? I want to say amenable, but really it's pleasant. The pleasant river. The fluvius is used of great rivers more than flumen is used of rivers. Of great rivers. Fluvius seems to be a bit more great than flumen, but in any case, the god himself, the god Loki of that place, Tiberinus, with his pleasant river. What did he do? He atolerese, he raises himself up. Senior, an old man. Well, he appears as an old man. It's more common for male gods of the river to be shown as older. He raises himself up, the old man, inter populeas frondes, among the fronds, the leafy branches of the poplar trees. He has sacred poplar trees. And oh wow, where are they? They're on the either end of this line, kind of really nestling it in as he raises himself up, surrounded by these poplar fronds. Visus, he appeared. He was seen. So the god Tiberinus himself, the god of this place, an older man, appearing to be an older man, with his pleasurable river, appeared to this man and raised himself up between the fronds of the poplar tree. And now we have in brackets, eum tenuis glauco velabat amictu carbasas, et crinis umbrosa tegebat harundo. Okay, we've got velabat, okay, a nice indicative verb, yes. A karbasus. Now that's a bit of an odd word, but that's a kind of linen garment, a fine linen garment. Oh, it's a tenuis karbasus, okay. A thin, fine linen garment. Velabat, veils him or wraps him around. Glauco amictu. Glauco amictu. With a grey, amictu is kind of a cloth, a mantle or a cloak. So we could say a fine linen garment wraps him around with grey cloth, and a harundo. That's a reed. And if you remember from book 4, reed can mean arrow, but here it doesn't mean arrow, it means reed. Or actually, here it's something, a reed that goes around your head. A reed wreath or a reed crown. So I'm going to say reed crown, a umbrosa harundo, so a shady reed crown. Tegebat covers over his krinis, his hair. I love that tegebat. It reminds me of tektum, which means roof. And I just can't get that image out of my head. A roofy, sort of like a roofing for his head, made out of a reed crown that happens to be a shady reed crown. It covers over his hair. Tum sic adfari et curas histemere dictis. Okay, then thus tum sic adfari, he addressed. A good old historic infinitive. He addressed probably Aeneas, I guess. We have to say Aeneas. Then thus he addressed Aeneas, and Demere he took away. He dismissed. He took away his kuras, his cares, because Aeneas was up late at night thinking about the fate of his people. He took away his cares. He sticties with these words. What are these words going to be? I don't know. We're going to have to find out in the next one. But I'm hoping that this god is going to give us a good portent, because, I think that we've got plenty of gods on the other side. Well, I mean, one too many, really. Juno. I hope that it's not going to be too hard of a time for Aeneas with Juno's wrath. In any case, join us next time for what this old man river god is going to say. Thanks, guys.